obsolete as a worn-out automobile with lots of miles on the odometer? Is it time for a new one, or should you go with a refurbished computer? Here with help in today's Tech Tips is Clifton Poe. So Cliff, what should you do?
I would never buy refurbished.
Never.
I would not. Computers aren't like used cars. You can't really have anybody go through and look at that computer and tell you if its history is good or bad. And my experience has been it's more often bad than it is good. So if you're going to buy technology, I suggest to always buy new.
Should you always wait till tomorrow?
No, you shouldn't.
Because they say that once you buy a computer, it's obsolete.
That's right. I don't think you should wait because I try to keep up with technology. My wife and I talk about that all the time, and I can't do it. No one can. It changes too much. So if you see something you like, go ahead and buy it. I would not have bought the iPad 2 the day before, or the iPad 1 the day before the iPad 2 came out.
Yeah.
But if you're not aware of what's out there and you have your eye on something, go ahead and get it.
So how often should you update your computer?
Change the computer out?
Change, yes.
I would say if you can't get 5 years out of a PC, that was a bad PC.
Really?
Yes, I would definitely shoot for getting 5 years out of a PC. Maybe not as much out of a notebook, more like 3 out of a notebook, primarily because of the hinge and the lid.
Right.
But on the desktop, I would say get 5 years out of it.
And netbook, about the same thing?
I wouldn't buy a netbook.
Not?
No.
Why?
If you did, and you got a year or a year and a half out of it, I would really be surprised. The netbook doesn't have a place in IT, I don't think. If you want that functionality, you can get it in a tablet or a slate, and you get more functionality for the money that you pay.
All right, well, let's go to our KFDM News Facebook page. We've got questions for you. What's the best antivirus and spyware protectors? Do we get this every month?
Not that one. Depends on who you ask. If you ask my wife, she's really partial to Trend Micro, and she's extremely good in IT as well. I like AVG. AVG is usually free for home use. It has a very low overhead, so it doesn't tax your PC that much. Trend Micro tends to be a little more taxing. What you pay for in the Trend Micro is support. You get support from Trend Micro. In AVG, you're pretty much stuck with their website. So if you don't mind spending the money, get Trend Micro. If you want something free, get AVG.
Okay, here's another question. My computer won't power up. I've checked all of the obvious issues, such as plug connections, etc. What could cause this?
More likely than not, it's the power brick or the power supply in the PC. But when you take it in, ask them to check that. Say, check my power supply. If you don't, more likely than not, they're going to tell you to replace your whole PC. But in this case, I was reading that question, I'm thinking, yeah, her power supply's gone out.
Okay, another question, kind of computer related. Do you think high-speed internet will ever be in rural areas?
I think this guy lived in Koontz. We lived in Warren, so I know his pain. And yes, it will eventually get there. I would say in the next 5 to 7 years, you'll probably have good high speed along 69.
Okay, what's the best way to properly maintain your computer to keep it running smooth and fast?
Never use it. It's like a
Don't
car.
buy one?
Yeah, don't buy one. It's like a car. If you drive it, you're going to get some squeaks. You're going to need some maintenance on it. Same with your PC. If you use it, it's going to require some maintenance. So I would say be selective about what you install, and don't just install everything that comes down the pipe. Be selective about what you need to put on.
Okay. Here's a question. Have you ever heard of Windows Vista? I think so. Causing a computer to become unresponsive.
Yes. Vista should have never been released, should have never been invented. To this person, I would say, yes, I have heard of Vista causing it to become non-responsive, and if they have the opportunity, I would say get rid of Vista, go to Windows 7, or even downgrade to XP Pro. Vista is just horrible and gives me lots of grief, so I prefer not to use it.
We don't want everybody to have it.
Right. No
Okay.
grief.
One more question.
Okay.
When I type certain letters on my keyboard, 3 or more letters come up, and sometimes symbols. I bought a new keyboard and also went to help, and it's still doing the same thing. So it'd be a problem.
I didn't catch the part about buying the new keyboard. If you've replaced the keyboard, then it's probably the plug that the keyboard is plugging into. I would say try an alternate plug if it's USB. If it's PS2, get rid of the PS2 keyboard and get a USB and try that.
Cliff, thanks so much.
You're
We'll
welcome.
see you again later this month.
That'll be
Look
great.
forward to